The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone, Truth Girl Sonia here. Missiles being fired by North Korea, escalating tensions, a whole bunch of drills going on in America at the same time. So what kind of risk do we have right now of nuclear war? You know, I'm going to get into some of the news updates, and also I'm going to show you some ways that you can actually keep track of the threat level for real and not sort of get pulled into a bunch of hype or get told to go back to sleep. Also, I'm going to bring up the prophecies related to World War III, what a couple of prophets have to say about this. First of all, North Korea fires rockets and torpedoes. Look what Trump immediately shot back from California. However, as it says in the update under the photo, the Minuteman III missile was actually launched a day before North Korea fired their artillery. The missile that was launched off the Central California coast is a nuclear deterrent. It was an unarmed intercontinental ballistic missile launched as part of an operational test to show the country's nuclear deterrent capability. Okay, how about the missiles that North Korea has? Apparently they have 4 different types. It shows here what the range of these missiles are. They can reach as far as Canada and Alaska, but really not the rest of the US. You know, there are other ways to put pressure on North Korea to stop making gestures that can be taken as threats. China in February banned coal imports from North Korea and is reportedly also considering restricting oil shipments. So, what is the level of threat right now in the US? Okay, this is from an article on CNN, and yeah, I know CNN with all their fake news, not the best source, but there is something interesting in this article. The North Korea rhetoric is angry, but is conflict closer? They say even if a strategic miscalculation happened tomorrow, many experts believe war isn't imminent. What's interesting is that they draw to our attention this little fact here, that if war was imminent, the U.S. Armed Forces would be placed on what is known as DEFCON 2. According to Carl Schuster, a Hawaii Pacific University professor and former director of operations at the U.S. Pacific Command's Joint Intelligence Center. Schuster said such an announcement would be formal and public. DEFCON 2 is a kind of rating scale they have for how close they are to a nuclear conflict and at what level of preparedness the country is. 5 being the lowest and 1 being the highest level of threat. And to give you an example, to put it in perspective, during the Cuban Missile Crisis it was at 3. I think during 9/11 it was at 3. And last year apparently, when there were a lot of tensions with Russia, it was also at 3, but just for a short time. So what is the DEFCON level right now? Well, according to DEFCON Level Warning System website, defconlevel.com, it is presently at 5, which is the lowest level. Here's another website that's keeping track of DEFCON. According to them, warning system update April 11th. The DEFCON warning system alert status for April 11th. Condition code is blue, DEFCON 4. We got 2 sites here keeping track of the DEFCON level. And one says it was at 4 earlier this month. The other one says today it's at 5. So either way you look at it, the level is not elevated. And as CNN mentioned, if the level was actually at 2 or 3, there would be an open announcement. Well, supposedly, like assuming we can trust the government, they would do that. But let's assume the protocol would be followed, then they would tell you. Now here's another issue, that of Gotham Shield and the exercises that are being conducted right now in the US. Operation Gotham Shield emergency responders from across the region stage nuclear bomb drill. They're staging an emergency response drill to a nuclear catastrophe scenario, such as with EMTs. A FEMA spokeswoman said the EMT exercise is separate from a 4-day practice drill being run by federal agencies. And as John Grembovietz, chairman of the New Jersey EMS Task Force, said, it has little to do with other current events, such as North Korea's rapidly developing nuclear program. This has been in planning for quite a long time. This really has nothing to do with any current situation. One last thing. How about those prophecies concerning World War III, such as Horacio Villegas, who says that World War III will erupt on May 13th. Apparently, this guy also predicted the election of Trump and some other things. And his prediction of the World War III is based on a dream where he saw balls of fire falling from the sky and hitting the earth. I believe these were symbolic of the nuclear missiles that will fall on cities and people throughout the world. There are people out there who may sometimes have some foreknowledge of an event, but most of the time, if you look at them on the whole, they don't have a very good track record. So just because somebody accurately predicted one thing one time, that doesn't mean we can trust that he's always going to be accurate with future predictions. Even the best, most reliable modern day prophets do make mistakes, such as Baba Vanga. Okay, she accurately predicted 9/11 and the rise of ISIS and the 44th president being African American. She suggested there would be an economic crisis at the time of the 44th president and predicted a peacemaker who would sign the lasting peace after that president had stepped down. So could that be Trump? So Horacio Villega is predicting World War III by next month. And Baba Vanga, on the other hand, predicted a lasting peace. So look, in summary, even the psychics can't agree, number one. And B, in spite of all the tensions at this point, the DEFCON level, which is probably the most accurate assessment of the nuclear threat, is still down at a 5. And if it actually was at a 4 earlier this month, that would mean that it has gone down in the last couple of weeks. So there's my analysis. So far right now, I really just don't see any evidence that there is any kind of imminent threat of nuclear war. Threat level is low. Everything's okay for now. Have a nice day. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up. Thanks for leaving me your comments, and I'll see you next time.